It's the Midwest Morning Coffee Report. Yours truly, Midwest Box Trucker. And I got a series of topics that I want to run through really quickly. I don't want to be here really long. As you guys roll in, hit the like button for me. Let me know where you tapping from, if you will. And we're going to, as usual, get right into it. If you guys didn't catch the live stream last night, go back and check it out. It kind of started off slow, but I think it was some good talking points in there towards the end. So if you're watching this and you haven't watched that, go check it out. It's something new that I'm going to be trying on the channel here in this upcoming new year and going forward. But today, first and foremost, what I want to talk about is the peak season or post-peak season rates, volume, and so forth. Because as we all know, the holiday season has come to an end, and the rates and volume are somewhat on the decline. Now, I'm still seeing some decent rates on the load boards, a lot of 3+ per mile for some of the longer runs, but you can already tell that rates and volume are on the decline. And I'm still seeing some of the daytime runs as well. Amazon to Amazon, 2 and 3 stop runs. So those are still popping up. And I believe Amazon will still be following a holiday schedule, at least for the next couple weeks. And then they'll switch back into whatever schedule is appropriate for the lower volume season or the first quarter of the year. So I know that's been a practice, at least the last couple of years, where after the holiday into January, I think it's like the second or third week, you'll see some of those daytime Amazon to Amazon, as I stated, 2 and 3 star runs, they'll go away. A lot of the postal runs that you see come up at 11 a.m., 12 p.m., 1 p.m., and so forth, those will start to diminish as well. So a lot of what will be available the first quarter of the year will be what we normally are used to pertaining to the night DDU postal runs. So you could look forward to that as well. And from what I'm seeing right now, like I was saying, the nighttime volume, to me, it looks low to moderate. And you can kind of pick and choose, pertaining to whatever area you may be in. I know it's a lot of individuals that watch out of other markets, but what we're seeing here is like low to moderate volume wise. And what I do see, like I said, I have seen some rates above $3 per mile. It still looks peakish rate wise, but you've already seen the volume dip off. So that's something, that we kind of experiencing right now. Now we may see like a large restocking of the spot load boards because it was pretty much cleared out from what I saw going into the holiday. Everything right before and right after the holiday was booked up by the 24th in my market. So that was cleared out. So at some point, I'm thinking before the big drought, it'll be some type of restocking of the load boards. And we'll see some type of increase and the lows that we're seeing on the spot load boards. But at some point, we know it's going to be a dip, and a lot of individuals tend to panic. And that's something, carriers need to understand as well. It's just a phase that we go through each year. So, I mean, it's a slow period. It's not the end of the world. Like, a lot of individuals choose to shut down and give up or quit on their trucking companies at this point, especially if they have seen subpar earnings throughout the holiday peak season event. So we see that a lot as well. We've already kind of started to see some of the I quit videos and so forth. To me, in my opinion, I think peak season was solid. I mean, I'm satisfied with what I saw. You're going to have events and happenings that's gone. You never get that. If peak is 6 weeks, most carriers experience something, at least one of those weeks, to where they're not able to maximize their profits. That's why it's a lot of talk about preparing for the heightened volume and, peak season in general, because a lot of individuals have some type of unfortunate event that'll at least take away one of those weeks. So if it was 6 weeks, most people get 5, some 4, some less. But things happen out here on a day-to-day basis. You will hope to be able to run and be profitable and see the maximum amount of lows that you can see during that period, but it just doesn't work like that. And individuals that's experienced know that just kind of comes with the territory. You have to expect it and prepare for it. As you guys come in, hit the like button for me. Box Truck Gang, what's happening? How you feeling? Yeah, I wanted to do this just to kind of, cap the week off. And yeah, it was a slow start to the week with Christmas Eve being Tuesday and then the holiday being Wednesday. So it was a really slow start to the week. And it seems to be kind of closing on the slow side as well. Like I said, it's opportunities, but they're far and few. One thing I did notice, and I'm kind of seeing, is the last couple years at least, right at the end of the year, right around this time, it was like a deep freeze where individuals was leaving the trucks running for 3 or 4 days at a time to avoid the trucks jailing. And that's happened at least 2 years in a row to some degree, at least in my market. So this year, from what I've seen weather-wise, we really looking at warmer weather in this area. So a lot of times with those deep freezes, if you could keep your truck running, that'll increase profits as well, because with mechanical breakdowns and then individuals that just don't want to run in inclement weather, it can open up opportunities for individuals that's willing to get out there. Well, that's something that's not likely going to happen this year with the mild weather. As you guys come in, hit the like button for me. So yeah, with the milder weather, that's not going to occur this year. So we won't see, heightened profits due to inclement weather and carriers either be it down or not running. So that's something just to think about as well. You just kind of got to take what you could get, if you will. But the holiday schedules are still in effect, and we already know first quarter 2025 is going to be extremely slow. So I would advise individuals, especially owner operators, to just try to find alternate sources of income. in some form of fashion, whether that be, I don't know. It's just what you're into. It's a bunch of different resources to generate income, especially if you've done well this peak season holiday. It's different things that you can kind of put money into to kind of generate money for the next, I would say, a solid 2.5 to 3 months. I think we'll see a little spike like in February, right around Valentine's Day, but not nothing significant that would, you know, cause an uproar or, anything to phone home about. So it's just kind of one of those situations where you just got to move your equipment accordingly. This is one of them times, and I'm the first individual to say, know your worth, run accordingly, stand on, your bottom dollar on what you can or cannot run for. And these times right now, I just got to be straight with you. You got to take what you can get. The next couple months, first off, is going to be a lower amount of value. Secondly, individuals that understand that are not going to wait. Individuals don't wait in times of heightened value. So when it's lowered volume as what we're about to see, the competition gets that much more fierce. Individuals are going to exit. Other individuals are going to, use different strategies in order to stay profitable. But this is something that we see each year. So as I stated, you kind of got to find alternate sources of income, whether it be in flipping cars, real estate. If you're not into real estate, get a real estate license. I don't know. It's just a bunch of avenues for individuals to make money, but you have to understand that in these slower times, this is the perfect time to be brainstorming and just figuring out different avenues in order to make some type of profit, because it's going to be slow. Something else I say is it's not going to be as slow as what I think a lot of individuals think it is, because it's just like, oh, it's not going to be it's a dip, and then it is going to be slow, but there'll still be opportunities. Those opportunities are just going to hit these low boards at a very low rate per mile, and I really don't see them increasing much, because like I was saying, the experienced individuals that understand this quarter of the year, they not going to wait. So if this is a time that, you kind of want to be picky, you got to take what you could get right now. You're not going to be able to, run at top dollar at all times. You have to kind of bargain right now. So even, with negotiations, you want to be cognizant that right now they got the upper hand. And I say most of the time, in my opinion, it's the opposite. But at this point, this quarter, this time of the year, with the amount of volume that we're going to see, once again, you got to take whatever you can get, be it scraps or whatever you will. You got to piece this stuff together and make it work. Kurt, what's happening? Appreciate you tapping in. Kirk said he making money at Amazon today. Yeah, the New Year reset. Yeah, it's gonna be, they got to do inventory numbers and so forth. So yeah, it's a process that trucking goes through. Like I said, individuals that understand, what's going on don't really fret. this couple months of what's going to occur. You just got to piece what you can together and move accordingly. I mean, it's just a part of it. You know, we go through this each year, but you still see the same sentiment in the space, you know, and it's trucking as a whole. It's not just box trucking. I know we always relate and, you know, make everything about box trucking, but that's another thing. I kind of want to look at stuff more from a trucking aspect as a whole, because, you know, everybody that watches is not just in box trucking. And a lot of this stuff pertains to trucking in general, not just box trucks. So that's something to think about as well. But yeah, it's still right now. I was looking, it's still holiday lows on the boards as we speak, or not holiday lows, but daytime lows, the lows that usually aren't available after they reset whatever the schedules and do inventory and so forth. But yeah, that's still popping up here and there. Another thing that's really important that I would talk about, you know, is performance. And I talk about that a lot. And it's not just with Amazon, but it's amongst the gig apps, brokers, and so forth. Communications, you know, what you do in these apps and so forth is extremely important in you being successful out here on a day-to-day basis in these trucks. And you want to maintain, you know, and utilize different relationships to keep moving, especially now. So when we're moving these loads, in my opinion, I would just want to take extra care. Like I said, over communicate and, you know, just carry yourself in a respectful manner, because you got to realize it's competition out here. And as I stated, around this time of the year is fierce. So I would just be cognizant of that and just kind of pay attention to how I'm moving and moving my trucks, what my drivers are doing. If you have drivers, I know a lot of individuals have drivers within the trucks. I've talked about different systems that you could use to monitor these trucks, from cameras, GPS tracking, and so forth. But it's a bunch of technology for you to be informed on what individuals are doing when they're operating your truck. So even if you're not in the truck, you're still responsible for what's occurring behind the wheel in these 3PLs, at Amazon, and so forth. So just be careful and invest in these different systems in order for you to be successful out here, because all of that matters. And you just gotta, you know, keep that in mind, because you're running the issues. And especially if you're not in the truck, you know, stuff will come up, accounts will come into question, you'll start getting phone calls, and it's due to something that you may not have done, but it occurred under your motor carrier authority with one of your drivers in one of your trucks. So I think that's something into the new year we want to think more about as well. Just systems in general, cameras in the trucks, GPS monitoring. You know, they got remote starts for the trucks right now. You can start these trucks from anywhere within the city that you live in. A lot of individuals don't know that. You don't necessarily have to go to your truck to start it. You know, they got systems just like a vehicle that you could put on it. With these cameras, you know, it detects motion. If somebody get the shaking, bumping, thumping on your truck, the camera automatically pops on. It records 10 seconds back and everything forward. So when it feels the motion, it records 10 seconds back, and then everything that happened forward while I was on. And once my camera comes on, it's on for at least 30 to 45 minutes. before it'll actually shut itself off. So these are cheap investments that I would advise individuals to look into in order to, be more successful. It seems small. It seems like something that, you might not need to talk about, but a lot of people don't know. And these things will save you a lot of trouble in the long run. I've talked about issues, box trucks have with semis. I don't put it all on the semi drivers. They go through stuff as well. Look at these individuals in passenger vehicles and the way they drive. Then imagine dealing with that for 10 hours or more a day, people cutting you off, invading your personal space, jumping over in front of you and, cutting you, slamming on their brakes for no reason. The other lane wide open. So all of this stuff comes up. People walk right out in front of the truck. I've had this happen. Somebody just told me this happened to them within the last week. You're driving up a street, 30, 40 miles an hour, car sitting to the right at the curb. As you coming, right when you could barely stop, they make a U-turn into your path, going the other way. And somebody told me that it happened to them. And then right after that, it happened to me. So now if you coming down the street and that happens, you can't stop because you got a heavy load. You hit that person, you don't have a camera. It's your word against theirs. If that happens on camera, they 100% at fault. So it's a big difference. And that's something that I would just advise individuals to think about. Most of the semis have cameras at the dash or in the windshield, but most of the box trucks don't. I've heard Amazon DSP trucks have multiple cameras, not just one. But most of the independent contractors don't have a camera within the cab of their trucks. So that leaves you at risk, as I stated, to your word against theirs. So that's just something to think about when you out here in these trucks and you carrying the amounts of insurance that you're carrying, and it's publicized on all these public platforms, and it's individuals that watch these platforms that are not in truck. So just think about that, when you're in these trucks on a day-to-day basis. KMB, what's happening? Appreciate you tapping in from the Shy. Jeff, what's the word? Yeah, man, I'm trying to keep y'all up to date and tapped in, man. Yep, I'm doing more of these more often. So yeah, look for these into 2025. Jay Dillard, I work for a small company. They got everything under the sun in this MF. I basically have to be a perfect. Yeah, I heard that. You got to be a perfect driver. So you can't breathe wrong in the truck, huh? Yeah, man, I hear you. But yeah, I've heard that Amazon, those DSP branded trucks, they said they have multiple cameras in those trucks, and that's also causing them to have a high turnover rate pertaining to drivers. They unable to keep drivers within these DSP trucks due to just rules, regulations, policies, procedures, and multiple different camera devices. People don't even know if they could talk on the phone in those trucks. So yeah, that's how Amazon rocking. So you gotta really just keep that in mind when you employing drivers. That I don't know if you want to go to that extent. I don't, at a certain point you invading the person's personal privacy, because you cannot expect a driver not to have personal conversations, outbursts. Drivers be blurting out all type of stuff when they rolling down the road. I wouldn't want to hear it. Some of the things people saying in these trucks, I told you what people going through on a day-to-day basis. So yeah, you really, I wouldn't want to hear what people saying in these trucks, to themselves. People talk to themselves. I've heard drivers, they the whole time they driving, they talking to themselves. It's like it's two, three people in the truck. They talking, they answering, and got, another. Yeah, it's just, so yeah, I wouldn't want to hear it, me personally. But it is what it is. Like I said, watching what's occurring out on the road, and that's a debate, forward and rear facing cameras, because you got some cameras that face only the road, then you have cameras that face the road and the cab. It's a dual camera, and that's mostly what you see in these trucks is a dual camera, because they want to know what's happening outside and inside the truck, because that's how they determine who's at fault in these accidents. So like I have a dual camera, so it can see me and it can see the road. And as I stated, it records 10 seconds back. So if I boom hit a pole, it immediately recorded what happened 10 seconds before that, in and out, up until the point I hit the pole, and then it's running from there, looking at, what's going on after you hit. So it can pretty much see everything that's going on around that truck. And then I've even heard of individuals putting cameras on top of the trucks to where it can kind of see, and then rear cameras to where it's like a backup camera. So all of that's available, and probably right on Amazon. I got 15 people in here. If you haven't hit the like button, hit the like button for me right now. I go off of the engagement. I want to do more of these on a regular basis. So when you guys roll in, don't forget to hit the like button. But yeah, that was just something that, I wanted to touch on as well. Just kind of having different, sources to protect your trucks, protect yourself when you out here, protect your drivers, investments, your business, and so forth. You got to be careful, and I don't think that's touched on, enough. Just the safety aspect when we're out here on a day-to-day basis. Something else that I was talking about, just finding stuff to invest in during this slow season. And I want to talk about that because, over the last year or so, I've been kind of into the stock market and building my portfolio, steadily investing, and just kind of, just understanding the stock market. I dibbled and dabbled in crypto. I'm not really into crypto now, but some I'll talk about because I think a lot of individuals take it for granted and fail to invest. And I've talked about this in the past, but with it being slow, this is the perfect time for individuals to learn. And I give you just a little play, something that I invested in and I made a decent amount of money on. Okay, Serve Robotics. When I invested in Serve Robotics, I invested in at an average of $8.08 per share. And I bought a bunch of it because it was extremely cheap. So I bought in at $8 or so a share, and that's average. I bought some shares less. I bought some shares slightly more, but that's mainly what I bought in there. And I bought a bunch of it. I made a mistake about a month after I invested in it, and I took some out because it dipped. It dipped to, I want to say like $6 per share. Me being inexperienced, I took some money out, not a lot, but a small portion. I wish I hadn't done that, but I still left a large amount in. So I invested at about $8.08 per share. Serve Robotics now is hovering right around $16.70. I want to say $16.50 per share. So everything that I put in, and this wasn't even a full year ago, it's already doubled. So every dollar that I put in is double. So that's something I want. And I'm not giving financial advice. I'm just explaining to individuals how you can put money into the stock market if you do it in an informed and educated manner. And this is something that, I just saw at a low dollar amount during a dip, and I invested in it. And I wish at this point I had put all my money into Serve Robotics. But I made a lot of money off of what I did put into it. And this is something I would advise individuals to look into. Don't just go try to invest into, Serve, or, just find something. Do some research. It's plenty of individuals that give information pertaining to the stock market. So you just got to do your research and find, like I said, it was $8 a share. A lot of the stocks that individuals invest in, they $500-600 a share, $200-300 a share. But find something, because it's a lot of new companies that over time are going to grow. It's a new company right now that 5 years from now is going to make a lot of people rich. A lot of people right now don't know what that company is. So it's trying to follow the big name companies, may cost you a whole lot of money, but starting with something small, just like I said, Serve, it was $8, hovering between $6 and $8. And luckily, for whatever reason, that's what I chose to put a decent amount of money into. And it didn't take years. So if you have put 10,000 in, you have 20 right now. If you put 50 in, you have 100. And that's in less than a year. And we work hard every day and we run these trucks. This is why I advise individuals to find other things to invest money into in order to be successful. And it don't have to be the stock market. Like I said, you can flip cars. You can, it's a bunch of different things you can do. But you got to just be diligent and, looking at other opportunities to make money, especially when you got a trucking company and we know that we're entering a season that's just extremely slow pertaining to volume. So that's just something I want to put out there as well. And you got to do your own research and figure out what'll work for you or what won't. But it's opportunities out here. And when you think that, it takes forever it don't take forever if you inform and you understand, what you're going up against and, how to just educate yourself as far as what moves to make and what to put money into. Zach, what's happening? Appreciate you tapping in. Jay, what you got for me? Go ahead. Cause I ain't gonna make this real long and drawn out, I just want to kind of cap the week off. Like I said, it was a slow start. Seemed like it's ending on the slow side as well. And yeah, just get ready for that the dip, and volume and so forth. Yeah, what you got for me, Jay? I appreciate everybody that's tapping into the stream as well. I've been getting a lot of good feedback on these, and yeah, I'm gonna keep them coming going into the new year. If you in here, you haven't hit the like button at this point, go ahead and hit the like button for me. And if you catch this on the replay, you make it to this point, let me know you still here. Hit the like button, drop a comment. It don't hurt. Can I get my authority with a Sprinter van? If so, if I get a box truck, would your age as an authority stay age, or will I start from scratch? No, Jay. That's how I started. I started in a cargo van. It's when you start your motor carrier authority. It's not vehicle specific. Now the limits do change. In a Sprinter van or a cargo van, rather, you're gonna start with 300,000 in general liability, and then when you move into that box truck, you're gonna have to up it to at least 750, and I would advise anybody in a box truck to up it to the 1 million. And then even some of the companies that you work with in a Sprinter van require you to have it at 1 million as well. So just to answer your question, the date that your authority goes active will be your start date, no matter what vehicle that you start in. And as long as you maintain that authority pertaining to insurance and so forth, you shouldn't have any issues age-wise. It should maintain through whatever vehicles you move into, whether it be a cargo van, a box truck, or a semi. So either way it goes, once you move into those different vehicles, you'll still have your seniority pertaining to the age of your authority, as long as you stay in good standing with the FMCSA. But you do have to pay attention to the limits. You checking in from Aurora, okay? Aurora in the building. Everybody keep asking me about mentoring. Like, I at times be tempted to take on like 5 mentees, but I've done a lot of mentoring in the past. Just to be honest with you, it's been over a year and a half ago, but I've had mentees. I understand that it's time consuming and that I have to be available, you know, because when individuals start trucking companies, they run into different issues. And some of these issues are pertinent and, they need help right away. So, yeah, I'm kind of, I haven't been doing any mentoring. I'll consider just taking 5 people on, honestly, just because I get so many people that ask. And yeah, I haven't been taking any mentees on in a long time. But yeah, everybody that I mentored in the past, they went on and got out into, and they have not come back. It's 19 people in here right now. If you enter and you haven't hit the like button for me one time. But yeah, I had individuals that I mentored. And yeah, once they got to where they needed to be, they kind of went onto their own path. I had a guy that he was struggling between 3PLs, a couple companies off of Indeed. That one company, and what it was, I mentored him on how to set up his company. He had a cargo van. He lived in the downtown area of Chicago. So he started, with a decent amount of capital. And yeah, he tried to start off. I told him, I'm gonna let you just kind of find your own resources and figure it out. And he was struggling to find work. And it was a company that I worked for, but it was a pay discrepancy. They were okay until we ran into that pay discrepancy. But once we hit that issue, I no longer was interested in working with them. So I left that company. As I was mentoring him and he was struggling to find work, I was like, hey, forewarning, I had pay issues with this company. But if you want to give them a shot, they bring on cargo vans. and he started working with them. He was getting paid, but it was a bunch of discrepancies. It was just a bunch of back and forth. And you go through that with a lot of the companies off of these sites like Indeed. You know, anybody could post on it. So you have no idea who you're onboarding with. They can say one thing and do the total opposite. But yeah, he was working with them. They were paying him, but it was a lot of dismay and back and forth between him and that particular company. And he didn't like how they were running them. He didn't like how a lot of the route, and pretty much, you know, they were kind of like price gouging, you know, where they gonna get the maximum off of your hard work and dedication. And a lot of times that's how it works. It's to be expected. But when you're new, you kind of got to take what you could get. So I forewarned him. He worked with them for a while. And then he kept coming back complaining to me. So I told him, hey, I know another place just to get you somewhere that's more settled. And it, you know, may be a better environment for you. That way you can quit kind of complaining so much. I advised him of this particular company, which is same with 3PL, and he went over there, but he didn't want to work for them. For whatever reason, he wanted to stay with the particular company that was, you know, just causing all of the headache. And I kept telling him, man, it's not going to change. You need to get out of there. But he chose to keep working with him. And he was able to negotiate some different schedules once he threatened to quit 5 or 6 times and didn't show up a couple times. And, you know, just a bunch of back and forth. And that's why the first time they didn't pay me my money, I left. And that's what happened. You know, I'm mid shift and I onboarded with them in a box truck, but I'm mid shift, I'm rolling, and I get my payout or my settlement, and it's short. And I mean very short. And I had ran hard the prior week and then had to wait like 2 weeks. Most of these companies, you don't even have to wait 2 weeks. They had me waiting 2 weeks to get paid. Then when I got paid, the pay wasn't right. So I reached out to the higher ups. I told them the pay wasn't right and by how much. He told me he would have it straightened out. I think it was Wednesday when the issue came up, Wednesday or Thursday. It was Thursday. He told me he would have it straightened out either Friday or at the latest Monday. And Monday he came back with a different story, telling me that they didn't owe me as much as I said they owed me, but they owed me a different amount. And so I just told him, all right, I got 3 different drops on my truck for y'all right now, because they were like, route you. I was like, after this 3, don't put nothing else on my truck. And he like, well, what do you mean? I said, I'm done after I drop what's on my truck. And he was like, well, you can't finish today. I'm like, no, I can't finish today. Like, I will drop everything that's on my truck. You can't put nothing else on my truck until we figure out the pay issue. And so he had like 3, 4 different people call me, but yeah, I quit right there. Once I dropped the 3rd load that was on my truck, I was done. And yeah, I didn't work for them again. And we kind of tried to talk it out. And eventually we came to some type of agreement, but I'm not even going to work for a company that's failing to hold up to their end of the bargain pay wise. Like, I'm not even going to waste my time. So yeah, I got up out of there. I ain't gonna even hold you up. And that's something I advise you. You run into issues, whatever freight that's on your truck is a liability. Drop that. You don't gotta let them put nothing else on your truck. And that's what well, can you finish today? Finish today for what? Ain't no need for me to finish today. Like, give me my money. So yeah, like I said, we negotiated that in the end. But yeah, I had a mentee that went and worked for them, and he went through a lot. But yeah, he was stubborn and just wanted to keep working for them. And I told him, if you running into the same issues that I forewarned you about before you went there, then what's that telling you? this is, and I then started to run into other people. I had a semi driver who he onboarded with me. He ran a box truck as like an owner operator. And as soon as I told him the name, that's them such and such. He like, oh, them some scam artists. And he just started, and then I had to, I hated that I told him who the people were. Cause he's like, man, don't work for them. They ain't gonna pay you. And he was an older individual. So yeah, he just started, once he heard my homeboy worked for them, and so it was a paper trail of people that they had kind of messed over pertaining to pay and, different things of that nature. But yeah, I had a mentee. He wanted to keep working with him in his cargo van. So, but yeah, everybody I mentored, they went on about their way. And that's how it is. Like, once people get the information, usually they're gone. It's just kind of like, I don't know how you want to look at it, but yeah, it just kind of is, at a point where once people get what they're seeking information wise, they calling you every day, at all different times. And then one day they just got it. And that's what you want. But yeah, I know what it takes to kind of, mentor and things of that nature. And it's a process, just to getting individuals to those points to where they're able to feel like, okay, I don't need you anymore. And now I can, move off onto my own and, navigate the trucking world. That's a process. I've had drivers that I spent 3 months training that still didn't get it. I had a driver for 2 months straight. Every time they used a ratchet strap, they tangled it up and I had to throw it away. Because it took 2 days to try to get the tangles out of the ratchet straps. And I keep showing the person 15 times a day. I've even had the person meet me at the truck stop and have a training session on how to ratchet properly. And I tell them, it's straight and loose now. You pull all of the slack out. You get all of the slack out. Then you ratchet 3 or 4 times. That's it. Just stop. And for some reason, every time this person go back there, they don't pull the slack out. So they leave the slack in the ratchet and they just ratchet it where it's at. And they just keep ratcheting it and just ratcheting it and just ratcheting it until it's so tangled and just in disarray, you never get it loose. So this is stuff that I've gone through just in simply trying to show a driver how to ratchet strap a load properly without causing the ratchet strap to be unusable. And this is stuff you'll go through. This is just part of training, backing up, docking, things of that nature. That's why I say once you train a driver, you want to have systems in the truck in order to monitor these drivers as well. That way, you know what's going on once you're out the truck. Because the way you train a person, once they get the gist of what they're supposed to be doing and what you see, once you part ways with them in a week or two down the line, it's 9 times out of 10 going to be something totally different. So that's something to think about as well. If you have no idea what's going on in your truck on a day-to-day basis, then, you leaving yourself open to a lot of different issues that may possibly arise pertaining to drivers in general. And then when you have multiple drivers, because let's talk about that. A lot of individuals have 3, 4, 5 drivers jumping in and out of 1 or 2 trucks, rotating on the ELD. And if you're not paying attention to what's happening between drivers, one driver get in the truck, run a route, hit a pole, dent the side of the truck, mess up the lift gate, who knows? They park the truck, get out of it. You never went to the truck. You have no systems to tell you that it had a high impact at the rear end. So the next driver jumps in the truck and goes and continues and completes their route. They go back and then they park the truck. And then eventually down the line, after different drivers have completed different routes, somebody figures out that it's damage to the lift gate or it's damage to the side of the truck or something is out of order. You have no idea who did it. So now I guess you're going to start accusing and attacking all of your drivers when it was one individual that was responsible. But because you have no systems in order to pay attention and monitor what these individuals are doing, that driver can cause you to have strife with multiple different drivers who simply came in and did what they were supposed to do. They didn't hit nothing. It's your job to monitor what's going on with your equipment. And if not, then you pay the price. It's as simple as that. You either pay now or you pay later. But you pay one way or another. Could be a little, it could be a lot. Either way, you're going to pay. So that's just something to think about because we often try to avoid certain things. I don't want to ride with a camera in the truck. The camera will save your ass. Excuse my French. But that camera, can save you a whole lot of money in the long run. The camera that you don't want in the truck for whatever reason, I get it. But bottom line is, when you're in a sticky situation, you will wish you had it. So that's just something to think about. And yeah, let's see what we got. I think I kind of touched on most of what I want to touch on. 17 people in here right now, 10 likes. Somebody hit the like button for me one time. If you catch this on the replay, do me a favor and hit the like button there as well. If you haven't hit the like button on your way out. And yeah, I think this has been a really good stream. I like these daytime streamline style of streams where I just kind of get the information out and, we out of here. And once again, I appreciate everybody that's tapping in, subscribing to the channel, gracing the streams. If you haven't hit the like button on the way out. And I'm going to get out of here, man. Got some things to take care of, but I appreciate everybody. Y'all stay safe out there in these trucks this weekend, and catch y'all on one of these like Monday. Peace.